I didn't make myself I didn't make myself referee, so I can't talk. Oh, yeah. StarCraft HD Remastered is going to be announced at BlizzCon with all the glorious details. I have no clue what they're doing. Here we are, Apocalypse building the pylon there. It is a PvP. I thought Balthazar went... I'm confused. Could have sworn he had selected Terran. But hey, that's fine. Mute myself for a moment. Talk to the loved one here. Okay, we are back. Nova talking about him wanting to upgrade his CPU. Now, what we normally see at a PvP is, some people will call it a rock, paper, scissors matchup. I don't really think that's the case. We'll normally see one player go for a big Dragoon army, and we might see that against something like DTs or Reaver. Those are two really the big tech options, like a 2-gate Dragoon or one base DT, one base Reaver. Sometimes a player will opt for an expansion and some cannons, but this matchup is very wonky. The decision to get the Zealot first or not to get the Zealot first is kind of a bit of an indicator. In some cases, we might see that Dragoon range, and here we see the 2 gateways, so it looks like we do have the Dragoons being made. Sometimes when you see that Zealot first, he's normally trying to save the gas so he can get up the Reaver, but nope, going right into the Singularity charge with just units being rallied. And this first Zealot is also pretty good against the early Dragoons. Once the Dragoons don't have Singularity charge yet, they have to sort of shutter step all the way around. And if there is a friendly Dragoon to follow it up, this probe desperately trying to get back into the base to figure out, because he only saw one gateway from before, but he wants to know if there's... Oh no, he's just checking the expansion. But yeah, normally you want to get up here and see if the Reavers are coming, see if the DTs are coming. We see that Zealot just chasing around. I think the Zealot went in a little prematurely. It could have waited for its Dragoon buddy to get there. You normally wait to see that Zealot chase those Dragoons. Now 3 Dragoons out, going to hold the high ground. I think it's Brood War. Yep, a lot like Brood War, Nova. A whole lot like Brood War. Oh, he's talking about Brood War HD. I would really like to see some 4K Brood War. Though we don't know what it is yet, because they're supposed to go over it at BlizzCon. We don't know if they're adding in, like, things that are going to break the game. Getting Brood War right on a 3D game platform has took Starbow forever, and we still don't have it completely like Brood War. Not that we intend to have it completely like Brood War. And a lot of gameplay elements are really, really close to Brood War. It's just not a carbon copy. And I think a lot of people are expecting a carbon copy of Brood War in high definition, and that's going to be so hard to deliver on if it's being made in a different game engine. There's so many nuances about how units behave. Balthazar's Dragoon's getting quite a good trade against Apocalypse Dragoons. You might just want to retreat back up the ramp, pull the probes back. Actually, he could pull the probes to engage, and that's what he's deciding to do. The probes you get one-shotted though. I was going to say these probes tank pretty well. Balthazar, though, microing his Dragoons very well, does get a few of them picked off, but he did good damage in exchange. He's going to have to do something though. This expansion is out. But we do see the Reaver coming out. See, I said that one Zealot can be indicative of a later Reaver play. That was just a little wrong on how later. Anyways, Balthazar pulling all the way back. Looks like he's going to... I would like to see if he pushes the front with the Dragoons. But You know, it seems like Apocalypse is not going to give him the opportunity. He's going to make him defend here with the Reaver. And yeah, he is making his way over to be able to push back these Dragoons with the Reaver. One big Scarab hit on these are going to do so much damage. A good micro though. If you run away from the Scarab, the outer rings of the splash deal less damage than the inner rings of the splash. So pulling your units away like you should do right now will cause them to take less damage from the Reaver shots. Of course, splitting them is pretty important. So many Dragoons going down. All of the Dragoons getting lost. Balthazar just decimating with a Reaver play. Now it looks like he's opting for the +1 upgrade and Forge, maybe for the speedlots or maybe to move towards those DTs. But you normally don't want to go into DTs, and it might have stopped the DT option in its tracks once you saw this Reaver. Because when the Reaver's out, you know, the Observers are just right behind it. Trying to get out cannons to help defend this, but the Reaver are going to be able to deal with the cannons quite handily, knocking down so many of the Dragoons, going after the probes now. All the probes getting pulled. That's not the place you want to be if you're a probe. All the probes get blown up by that one Reaver. This one Dragoon sneaks in the back, trying to take down the Warp Prism. Its targeting gets a little skewed though. Going down itself. Wow. Apocalypse almost stabilizing here. And if he can stabilize, this game should continue on. Balthazar though, floating some minerals and gas. This one pylon so close to going down, and it does go down. Doesn't supply block his opponent though because of the constant trading of armies. 4 Dragoons to 3 though. 2 more Dragoons showing up. That is the defender's advantage of Starbow. You don't warp in units to the front line. Games do tend to continue even after one place has gained an advantage. Go to the units tab though. Balthazar still behind in the probe count despite all of that aggression. That's really perplexing. I guess these Nexi have been up for so long. Kagorhan, so good. I think that's Chrono? But yes, Chrono Boost is really good, and that might be explaining his worker lead, because we see a ton of energy, except for this Nexus. No, he's been using this Chrono. Been using it on the Reavers, though, whereas Apocalypse may have been using it to get out probes. Balthazar is really starting to stabilize. Probably could afford to add on one more gateway. He's going towards the armor now. Armor upgrade is not as useful in this matchup. It reduces the damage Dragoons take from other Dragoons from 20 to 19. And I'm not too adept in on-the-fly mathematics to be able to determine if that reduces the number of shots it retires to take to kill a Dragoon, but I don't really want to think about that too much right now. Reaver drop coming in, going straight for the cannon, just happened to get a big shot there. Again, you can't tell how many kills it's gotten, but it looks like it did get about 4 probe kills there. Quite good harass. Probe kills in this game is far more meaningful than they are in StarCraft 2, because the way mining works, your economy scales up much more smoothly, so when you do lose workers, that does translate into real lost mining. Whereas in StarCraft 2, if you're oversaturated on a mineral field and you take a couple workers loss, that's so many workers. But he's only evening up the worker count with this harass. Is he gonna lose it? Oh wow. Going down to 14, one more hit would have killed that warp prism. Sorry, I'm so congested. Big Dragoon Reaver Army at the front. Getting a Forge, he's going to try and get caught up in those upgrades. I'm surprised we haven't seen +2 attack come out. Getting the Energy upgrade before Storm is weird. Normally you see that in the other order. They don't come out with Storm, you gotta research Storm. And they don't have any other ability. They don't have feedback. Oh yeah, they do, they have hallucination. There's the Observer coming out. Observers are gonna really help shut down this harass. A Corsair came... We could be seeing DTs. Corsair plus Observers. The Corsair is able to kill your opponent's Observers, and then the DTs can go in. This could be a DT play. Go to the production menu. No DTs getting made though. High Templar are being made. Likely to be morphed into Archons. There he sees his mistake, putting in the Scythe Storm. Not having Storm at the onset is going to be quite bad for this Protoss army. It doesn't have access to any splash damage. Protoss players moving around up to his newly building third. If these Dragoons get in there though, it's going to be able to do significant damage. The Corsairs chasing down an empty Warp Prism, kind of sacrificing themselves to mitigate the harass. Focusing down the pylons first is I think they're just on a move, attack move command. I think Balthazar has too many units to be able to deal with this sizable Protoss force. Looks like we're going to get a Storm Druk brought in by Apocalypse. Looks like he's moving up to this third base. Not many probes there just yet. I'd like to see if he cuts around and comes in, does a storm drop here, or tries to storm drop back here. Photon cannons in the mineral line, though, ready to deal with this. Protoss army's kind of taking an odd route back here. Might be able to catch out this Warp Prism. Looks like the Warp Prism's going to get in there, but likely run right into a cannon. Does turn, and yeah, looks like he's going to storm drop here. Storm is finished, though, so he should be able to get some pretty nice kills here. And he picks them up before they get took out. That really evens up the worker count, doesn't it? Yeah, those probe kills push Apocalypse pretty far ahead. Though Apocalypse is probably still behind in economy just because he has access to his third base, Balthazar does. And that means his workers are mining more efficiently across more minerals. Such a huge Dragoon army. You gotta really commend Balthazar for his macro in this PvP. Normally PvPs kind of end on 2 base, but this one's really moving into the later stage of the game. Big number of gateways being added on. I would expect to see... Oh no, he is expanding. I was about to say I'd expect to see him just to use these gateways to pump out such a large round, a sudden influx of Dragoons, and try to do some game-ending push, but no, he's going to continue and expand. 4 Reavers are out on the map. One of them's just don't know what it's doing. 2 are inside the Warp Prism here, and I think he has 1 at the front. Whoop! Doing a storm drop without your High Templar doesn't work very well. Big concave drone to drive Balthazar away. I think I need to go grab myself a drink of water. So we're going to go ahead and put it on Apocalypse Vision here. And I'm going to go grab a drink of water.
I'll be right back. My life for ire. Mineral field. Research complete. Cassam de Templar. Mineral field depleted.
And we're back.
You must construct additional pylons.
I heard some mineral fields getting depleted, and it is true. He's getting mined out. He's going to really need to hold this third base, and so many probes are here going to get took out. Man, he really can't afford to lose his third base. He's flanking in from both sides. He's going to trap all of these Dragoons. but he is fighting up the high ground. Zealots are already in. Zealots tank out these damage from the Dragoons so well. He's going to try and focus down the Nexus, but with Balthazar being mined out in the main, this Nexus loss is going to be so punishing. He does kill all of Balthazar's army, storming back there to kill off those last few Dragoons. Balthazar really needs to do some type of immediate counteroffensive. Oh no, his only mining base, the probes are getting took out. Oh, that is so brutal. Balthazar has been non-stop harassing. Looks like he's going to go up into the main, and if these probes get knocked out too, Balthazar is just going to be so far ahead. He's already up 25 workers over his opponent, 30 workers over his opponent. Wow. This is it. This is it for Apocalypse. He has to push and deal damage, morphing in some Lapmanic Archons from the Templars that were low on energy. He has the AoE. He has the big Dragoon numbers. He has to deal damage now. I'd like to see these Reavers come back home, but this is it. He's really piling in, waiting for his High Templar to get here before he takes a big engagement. These units do not have Storm yet. Big Storm's coming down over all the Dragoons. Archon's getting in, taking up so much damage. Still no Storm yet. I don't even think did he forget to research? He forgot to research the Storm. The Reavers are coming back. These Reavers are getting back here a little late to the fight. Most of the army for Balthazar is still alive. Does take down the Nexus, and this base up here is under siege by the Zealots. He's just going to march back up here and kill this base. This game is going to stabilize once again. Sure, Balthazar has 41 workers, but they can't do anything. They have no mining bases. Apocalypse so good, checking for other bases on the map. Balthazar realizing he's in the position that Apocalypse is moving out. He's going to get a big concave off, but here comes a storm. A storm all over the Reavers. I'd like to see another storm follow up on that. Wow, so much damage coming across those Reavers. Not the best arc from Apocalypse, but the Archon's getting up front, absorbing a lot of damage. And you know, things are just kind of neutralizing out. There's just one Dragoon back here, going to take down this whole base by himself. Wow, this game has been so back and forth. Storm's still not done yet. I feel Storm had been finished, would be seeing a much more even game. Wow.